Then, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Drop Zone, brought to you by Doobie. And we have with you, as always, your hosts Anthony Young and Jeff Walsh. How you doing today, bud?
Not too bad. A little bit of a wake up, but we are here once again. No one is going to stop us from doing this every week. How are you doing, Tony?
Tired but good.
That's good. That's our normal. That's we're tired, but we're not gonna let the tiredness stop us from hopping on here. I don't want to get people too excited, but a rant will be happening for each one of us in this episode. I'm excited for both of them. I know that you're excited to hear mine. I'm excited to hear yours. But again, there's a lot of NBA stuff again with the NBA playoffs going on. The very few NFL news, if any. Just a few signings. I mean, I'll go through them quick. What happened in the NFL? On May 7th, Minnesota signed former 49ers wide receiver Jawan Jennings to a 1-year, $8 million contract. That I think will be a great signing for them because now that they have like a really good wide receiver room now. So that just increases that. The Colts released Kenny Moore, which they were looking for a trade for him, but they couldn't find anything, so they just got rid of him. And Breece Hall actually signed an extension with the Jets for 3 years, $45.75 million. The Chargers signed former Browns tight end David Njoku to a 1-year, $8 million contract, and my Pittsburgh Steelers re-signed kicker Chris Boswell to a 4-year, $20 million extension. Happy about that because if we let him go, that would have been not too good for us because he saved our asses in many games. Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I don't know if you have any thoughts on what any of those signings at all.
The Brees Hall was kind of expected. He's basically been pretty much the entire offense outside of Garrett Wilson. So, I mean, I wouldn't have blamed him if he wouldn't have resigned. But yeah, it was the smartest thing that the Jets could do was resign him.
Yeah, that's all the NFL news that we got. And then, well, I'm going to start off the episode this week of we got some sad news that happened yesterday. In the NBA world, current NBA player Brandon Clark passed away yesterday due to a drug overdose at the age of 29. That's just tragic. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Again, being you were big advocates for that. Thoughts and prayers go out to him, his family, his friends, his loved ones, his teammates, former teammates, anybody that's hurting for that passing is it's just tragic. And again, if anybody's going through anything, please reach out and get help. Like that's not the answer for your problems because it's going to cause more problems and heartache for others in your life. I wanted to just talk about that again because again, mental illness got another person, and it was way too young at only the age of 29. who had, I would say, at least another 6 years of NBA time, and that was cut short. So again, uh, if anybody's going through anything, please seek help and reach out, because that's not the answer.
I really don't have much on that one. You pretty much said it all. We both are big advocates of mental health. Um, that was shocking when my phone went off, and that's what the headline was from ESPN. And then I think a couple hours later, another one occurred that you're about to speak of. So yeah, it's just again, like Jeff said, if you have any issues, please don't be afraid to talk to someone, just go seek help, because I mean, mental health is something that we need. Everybody needs to take seriously. And like I said before, Jeff said it best. We're both advocates for mental health, and yeah, I don't have much more on that. Just please, everybody, if you need the help, just please go ask and seek for it.
And I mean, I understand. Again, we are two men, two guys. I'm again, for us men, it is difficult because again, it's not nowadays it's not as bad, but in the past it was like you don't like talk about that stuff, you just keep it in. But again, times are changing, so again, we gotta all speak up against it. And then former NBA player Jason Collins passed away at the age of 47 due to brain cancer. Uh, Jason Collins didn't do too much on the basketball court. Again, he averaged about 4 points for his career, but he was the first openly gay basketball player ever. And he just laid down the stepping stones for a lot of people. He had the courage to come out, and I would say that helped at least a couple thousand people come out as well, in their normal everyday life. It didn't have to be an athlete or a famous person. Um, and up until his last day, he was still encouraging that. He was still fighting for that, and just to be able to come out and be your own um, person. And it is just so tragic because he was really just a great person from everything that I read on him. And again, to be able to just have the courage to come out as gay in the time where he did, just said a lot. And again, sending our thoughts and prayers out to his family, his friends, and loved ones.
Yeah, like I said, that was actually the second breaking news I received later that day yesterday, and you know, this is so hard because of the fact that you know I gained a lot of respect from him because he was the first open gay athlete basketball player to come out and express how he felt. But at the same time, we're still dealing with cancer issues that we just seem to be just can't get away from. Um, so yeah, it's a very rough situation for all of us to deal with because I'm pretty sure we all lost somebody in our life due to cancer. Um, yeah, I really don't have much more on it. It's just a tough topic.
Yeah, again, I want to just get this out of the way first, and then we can, kind of enjoy and have our fun. I don't want to end on this, to start on this. Again, it's just tragic, and again, just yeah. As I like to always say, uh, fuck cancer, because it absolutely sucks. Again, we all kind of know somebody who's been affected by that in one way or another.
Agreed.
So we're gonna go into the NBA playoffs. Um, we're gonna kind of try and go a bit quick through like the early games in the series, and we'll talk more about the ones that have recently happened. Um, but for the Pistons and Cavs in Game Two, Detroit won 97 to 107. James Harden struggles at the beginning of these series all the time. I don't know what his problem is. Donovan Mitchell just carried the Cavs with 31 points. Um, and then on the side, there was more balanced scoring. Cade with 25, Tobias with 21, Duncan with 17, and Danish Jenkins with 14 off the bench. Again, we're gonna try and kind of skim through these early games in the series, but again, this was a very impressive wire. It wasn't wire to wire because it was a back and forth, but um, it was a very good game from both teams. But the Pistons shot 50% from three, and the Cavs shot 22, and that was the huge difference in this game.
Yeah, this is basically typical James Harden. As the series get tougher, he just starts disappearing. Um, the Cavs had a chance to win this game if they would have got more production from Harden and from Mobley. Um, yeah, I I'm trying to be somewhat not emotional about this, especially with Harden. But when you keep seeing his playoff numbers, and then you look at his regular season numbers, it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like he scored 10 points, went 3 for 13, 0 for 4 from the field, 4 for 4 from the line with 4 turnovers. And then you look at his regular season numbers, I guarantee you will find maybe one, 2 games where he didn't score no less than 15 points. This is becoming a common recurrence in the playoffs with James Harden. And with Harden's lack of, I'm going to say effort because it just seems like he just really doesn't care. You know, if he could have gave another 10 points, that would the game would have been tied. And if they got anything else from Wade or Mosley, they would have won the series, the game because Detroit wasn't very dominant. I mean, Cunningham had his usual 25 plus points. Tobias Harris had his usual 21 points. Jalen Duran disappeared again. 8 points, 2 of 7, 4 for 6 from three, from the 4 for 6 from the free throw line. So it's not like Detroit was blowing him out. It's just you got players that's just disappearing during the wrong time.
Yeah, James Harden is one of the all-time great regular season players I've ever seen in my life. The dip in his playoff stats and his performance is stunning. I mean, in Game 3, he had a bit of a comeback. He had 19 points, 8 of 14 from the field, with only 3 turnovers, and the Cavs were able to get the win, 109 to 116. Um, Again, he showed up a little bit. It's not like he never really shows up totally because you don't want to get people too excited. But Donovan Mitchell had 35 points. He's been a lot of the Cavs pretty much offense. I mean, Jared Allen had 18 points. But other than that, I mean, Donovan Mitchell is really just kind of carrying this Cavs team. Again, Jalen Duren absolutely, I don't know. It's his second playoffs ever. So, I mean, I'm trying to give him a bit of a pass for, he's trying to adjust to the physicality. But, I mean, that's what the Pistons are known for is their physicality. He's just struggling in the playoffs. Only 11 points and 4 rebounds. That's not gonna cut it. That's not gonna cut it to help his team win. Um, again, your normal three for the Pistons really scored. It was Cunningham, Harris, and Duncan. So, but again, Harden kind of came back to life a little bit, I guess. But then Don Mitchell just absolutely just kind of carried this team in game three to help them at least get at least one. Now it's 2-1 in game going into game four.
Um, yeah. Basically, it was the same as game two, where it was mostly Tobias Harris and Cunningham. They're getting a huge lift from Duncan Robinson, but um, and I understand what you're saying. It's only Jalen Duren's second playoff series, but by now he should be used to at least the flow of the playoffs. Just because it's the playoffs, I mean, yeah, teams. The only differences between the playoffs and the regular season is you're seeing the same team at least 4 times a minimum, 7 times max. So you've seen the same team over and over and over, compared to where you in the regular season you're seeing a different team every other day. So either he's not watching game film, or he's just one of those players that's just not built for regular season, the playoffs. He's just built for regular season, like James Harden. And the Cavs, I mean, if they don't get more scoring out of the rest of the supporting cast, it's going to be a. I mean, it's going to go. I believe the series is going to go 7. But yeah, it's going to be a long 7.
Yeah. Because if they don't get the kind of performance that Don Mitchell gave them in game four, this again can't keep happening. Don Mitchell went absolutely berserk in the second half. He had 43 points, 39 in the second half. So he had 4 points at halftime, scored 39 and a half. That is tied for the most in NBA history in a playoff game. Um, he took over. I mean, Harden stepped up a little bit. I mean, with 24 points and only 2 turnovers. Um, Evan Mobley chipped in a little bit, but then not much. Again, it was a lot of the Don Mitchell show in the second half. Uh, for the Pistons, underwhelming scoring. I mean, you had your normal two, Cunningham and Harris, but the leading scorer was Karis LeVert off the bench with 24, and Paul Reed with 15 off the bench as well. Um, Duncan had an off game. Duran again struggled again, and on 8 points, only 2 rebounds and 4 turnovers. Um, and now it's tied 2-2. Going back to Detroit, which the game's going to tip off very soon. Um, it seems like only the home team can win and really get an advantage in the series, so it's going to play into the favor of the Pistons. But again, if you're the Cavs, you can't count on Don Mitchell to score 43 points every night. So some of the offense has got to come from somebody else, and I don't trust it to come from James Harden consistently. So they got to figure that out.
I agree.
All right, so we'll talk about your series, the Knicks. Who gave, I think, the worst belt to ass in a series I've ever seen in my life. That was I'm lost for words. That was a very just impressive series from you guys. That was very impressive. I mean, in game 3, it was close, 102 to 108. The Knicks won. Embiid didn't play with an ankle/hip injury, but they looked better without him, which is interesting. Maxey and PG led the way. It was very balanced scoring from the Sixers in this game. Mitch Robinson didn't play for the Knicks, but Jalen Brunson did his thing with 26 points. OG with 24. Um, Again, it's an early game. Again, you guys just did what you need to do it in the entire series. But I'll let you go and talk about game 2 and how you thought it went. Even though you guys did win,
Um,
it was a hard fought, a very close win.
well, that's because the Sixers could thank the refs for that. They kept Cat and foul calling ticky tack fouls on Cat, which I thought was ridiculous. Um, but it is what it is. If Cat would have been on the floor for more than 20 something minutes, it would have been a blowout. I mean, let's be realistic about it. The only reason why it wasn't a blowout was because Cat was in foul trouble the entire time. Paul George and Tyrese Maxey basically, pretty much held their own with help from Kelly Oubre and Edgecombe. But the Knicks defense, smothering defense, basically just wore them down. Because I believe they had 3 turnovers in the last 3 minutes. Um, and then game 3, without Ananobi, who has been the best two-way Knicks player, they just basically destroyed them. Well, I won't say destroyed them. 14-point win, but still, that's with even with Joel Embiid playing, they still couldn't. That game was really as not as close as what the score makes it looks like to be. Um, Kelly Oubre was just basically the scorer of that one with 22 points. But the Knicks got scoring from him again. As you can see, Cat had only 8 points. Again, foul trouble. But Josh Hart gave him throwing 12. Mikal Bridges finally found his playoff rhythm with 23. Jalen Brunson had 33. Um, Landry Shampet pitched in 15. So yeah, they just certain players stepped up with Anunoby out to fill that void, and they basically just kept shutting down the Sixers.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous when I got that report about OG Anunoby. I was like, oh, because to me, he's been low key the most important player for the Knicks in this playoffs.
No argument
Um,
here.
he, I mean, he's a great defender, but you guys are getting excellent contributions from him scoring the ball. Um, he's been a very impressive scorer to me in these playoffs. But again, Mike Brown has his team kind of cooking all cylinders. It don't matter who's out there. Mikal Bridges, I will take back what I said in the last podcast or the one 2 weeks ago. Uh, it was just a bad series for you in Atlanta. You know, it was a bad series. I apologize. Um, because I remember saying I think that they gave up too much for him. There's been an overreaction, but I am in media in the sports world, so that's what I'm meant to do is overreact. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, he's finding his footing again. Jalen Brunson is just carrying the whole city of New York on his back at this point, with a big 30-point game and 9 assists. So that was a very impressive game three, and then it got more impressive in game four. I will let you take it away. Go ahead to talk about the absolute fucking belt to ass that you guys gave them in game four.
Yeah, game four, they basically dog walked their ass. 30-point victory. They broke out the brooms. It was the first sweep for the Knicks since 2000, I believe it was. I think that was the last time the Knicks swept an opponent, and that was in the best of fives. That's when they had best of five series. Um, Again, OG wasn't playing because of the hamstring. Um, Cat was actually on the floor this time, although there was one call where you could tell the refs was just trying to help Philadelphia out, where Embiid just bulldozed over Cat and it called the foul on Cat that eventually got overturned. Um, Josh Hart stepped up with 17 points. Mikal Bridges didn't put up the 25 points, but he put up 12 points. His shooting was not too bad, 60%, um, 6 of 10. And Brunson basically had 22, being Jalen Brunson. Mikal Bridges, the specialist, was on fire that game. He led all Knicks with 25 points. And he was 10 of 7 from the field, 7 of 9 from 3-point land, and 4-4 from the line. So, yeah, I mean, McBride is basically a 3-point specialist, and he delivered, 7 of 9. I mean, that's the best shooting 3-pointers I've seen from that team in a long time. Um, Apparently, the series just got too worn down on Paul George because he only had 7 points. Embiid had 24, but it wasn't enough. Kelly Oubre, series wore down on him. He only had 10. Tyrese Maxey, you could tell the series was wearing on him. He finished with 17, and Edgecombe finished with 8. So you could tell the Knicks' pressure on them just having to, constantly run around the court defending all these players finally was wearing down on them, and they just could not keep up.
Yeah, I know a lot of what Mikal Bridges doesn't always show up on the box score, but I know he locks down. He's a great defender, so that's why I was a little lenient on what I said. Because offensively, you're not going to get huge production out of him constantly, but on defense is where he shines. Um, but you guys shot 57% from the 3-point line.
Mostly thanks to McBride.
Yeah, that's a number I'm not used to seeing so high. You guys shot better from the 3-point line than you did the actual field. So, um, again, very impressive. Very, again, you guys did what you needed to do. You guys absolutely just destroyed this team. And again, now you guys get extra rest while you watch the Cavs and the Pistons just absolutely just manhandle each other. So you guys get the extra rest. Philly gets to go to Cancun early, and then the next series, the team was able to go to Cancun early too, and it involved LeBron James, and I'm happy about that one. Um, I'm gonna wait till I'm done talking about the entire series to go on my rant about a certain player. I know people will be shocked it's not about LeBron. In game 2, OKC won 107 to 145. LeBron with 23, Rui with 16, Austin Reeves with 31 big points, but was not enough to get the win. This Thunder team is just too good. It just really is. Chet and SGA both had 22. Asia Mitchell had 20. Case Wallace had 12, and Jerry McCain had 18 off the bench. Just this team's loaded with scores, and again, I don't really see a team stopping them. I mean, the Sixers might give maybe a loss or two, but I mean, this this other team is just way too good. It almost feels like cheating at a certain point, which is how good they are and just how loaded. In game 2, the Lakers stood no chance. They didn't really stand a chance the entire series.
Basically, I'm just going to talk about Game 4 because I mean, I knew LA didn't have a stand a chance, especially without Luca. Luca. Um, this series was basically a joke. LA shouldn't have been in that. You know, this series they should have never been a part of this series. They should have been Houston, but they found a way to beat Houston with, of course, without Kevin Durant. So I'm not saying that Houston would have made it even more of a series, but I think it would have been more. It would. I don't think Houston would have got swept.
No. I mean, yeah, we could have skipped right to game 4 because game 3, the fucking Thunder won 131 to 108. Game 4, it was close. Made a very close game. The Lakers tried their best, but they lost by 5, 115 to 110 to get the sweep done and over with. SGA with the 35. Sorry, with the 35 points. And AJ Mitchell, Jesus Christ, with 28 as a starting guard there in OKC. But the Lakers, LeBron and Rui, 24 and 25. Austin Reeves with 27. Jackson Hayes with 18 points off the bench. Here's where the rant starts. The starting center, DeAndre Ayton, 6 points. 6 points and 3 rebounds. The backup center, Jackson Hayes, again, like I just said, had 18 points, 5 rebounds. I've come to the realization you can't win with this guy. You will, no matter what situation he's in, no matter what team he's on, you cannot win a championship with this guy on the court as your starting center, at least. And that's absolutely sad when he was the number 1 overall pick back in his draft. When you're getting outperformed by Jackson Hayes, that's pathetic. In the 4-game series, so in the only 3 games that I have here, in game 2, he scored 3 points on 1 of 7 shooting. In game 3, he had 10 points on 5 of 9. And then in this game, again, he had 6 points on 3 of 3. I I don't get it. But he was the number 1 overall pick back in 2018.
Almost 10 years ago.
This season, he averaged 12.5 points and 8 rebounds. That is not number 1 overall pick material. He might go down as one of the worst first overall picks in NBA history.
No, I think that still goes to Kwame Brown.
Oh no, I said one of the worst.
Okay.
One of. To have so much potential and so much talent and hear him bitch
Ooh, excuse me.
and moan and complain in every situation that he was put in. People got upset at Monty Williams when he was on the Suns for going nuts on DeAndre Ayton for his effort and lack of effort on the rebounding and on the defensive end. He went to Portland. Didn't have success in Portland. Came here to what should have been the perfect storm and situation. You have 3 of the best passers in the league. Austin Reeves is a good passer. Luka, we already know, and LeBron is a great passer as well. But what did he do this year? He bitched and moaned and complained and said, "I'm not no Clint Capella."
Well, that's an understatement of the year.
I honestly think that the Lakers would have been 10 times better with Clint Capella. Because at least Clint Capella knows his role. You clearly don't. Your role on this team is to get rebounds, play defense, and run the goddamn floor, and you'll get your points. Is to get rebounds, play defense, and run the goddamn floor, and you'll get your points. But you don't. You don't do any of that. Again, but you just sit there and moan and complain, and I don't get the ball. I don't get to score. Look at who's on your team. You're not going to be able to just play how you want to play and just score all the time. No, just know your role. I get annoyed when players like him can't just understand that simple fact and just concept of knowing your role on a certain team. It's going to change from team to team, but he just doesn't get it, and he's getting outperformed by Jackson Hayes. It's just it's pathetic. It really is. I'm glad that I'm not a Lakers fan because I would be probably flipping my setup over talking about this, knowing that we paid this guy I don't know how much money this past year to underperform in the playoffs and just do nothing but bitch and moan and complain all season long. But again, it's just bad. It's just bad and pathetic. He had a few good games in the Rocket series, but other than that, he's been absolutely just underwhelming this entire playoffs and honestly the entire regular season as well.
Um, yeah, I really can't argue about your complaint with this guy because everything you said is 100% correct. Yeah, for what Arizona, by them drafting him first in the 2018 draft, I know the difference was, well, he was the best player available. Was he really? Because if I'm not mistaken, The rest of that draft, let's see if I can pull it up. I just had it. Give me a second. Okay, so the first three players that went in that draft was DeAndre Ayton to Arizona, well Phoenix, Marvin Bagley, and then Luka Doncic. Marvin Bagley turned out to be not too, a pretty decent player. I'm not sure if I've ever heard of that Luka Doncic guy. I'm not 100% sure about that. I think I might have heard of him. I think he's a pretty decent player. He can't play defense for shit, but definitely. I mean, if you'd have paired Doncic with KD, Devin Booker, oh my god, do you know how dangerous that team would have been?
Well, extremely dangerous. But they went after DeAndre Ayton.
And I get it; they needed a center at the time, but I'm pretty sure you could have found one in free agency
Mm-hmm.
that could have basically did exactly the same thing that he's doing right now. So yeah, I mean, teams that say they go, okay, that's is the best player that's in the draft that we need. Sometimes you got to reassess that a statement and go and look at it as okay, is that the best player at that position that we need, or is that the best player in the draft overall that we need? To me, it looks like they was looking at the best player at that position, not overall. Because he's definitely not a first. I mean, yes, he is a first round talent, but he's not a number one overall talent.
Like the other people in the draft aren't selfish. Marvin Bagley, did it pan out in Sacramento? Not really. Um, but he ended up finding his niche and his role in the NBA, and he's still a player in the NBA. He's on the Washington Wizards right now. But you don't hear no bitching, no moaning, no complaining from him. You hear it from DeAndre Ayton. So it's again. I mean, I feel like he was given. I mean, the Suns at the time weren't a great team. I mean, there's a reason why they were the number one overall pick in that draft. But as his career progressed, he was given the opportunities and just uh, didn't capitalize, or he came up short in moments. Again, there's been a lot of cups of him and his lazy defense, lazy rebounding on a bunch of different occasions. So, um, again, just to be outperformed by Jackson Hayes in a series against the Thunder when you're supposed to be one of the better centers in the NBA, it's just pathetic and it's just sad.
Yeah, I got nothing else on that.
All right, so I got my rant out the way. I'm sure um, I'm sure Tony liked it.
I love it when you
I
go
didn't
on
get too
this.
mad. Yeah, I didn't get too bad, but I think it was justified. Um, and then the Spurs and Timberwolves series. This has been back and forth. In game two, San Antonio won 95 to 133 to get kind of home court advantage back. It's now tied 1-1 after game two. Really just off shooting from the entire Wolves team. And then the Spurs very balanced scoring. Champagne with 12, Wemby with 19, De'Aaron Fox with 16, Devin Vassell with 10, Castle with 21, Harrison Barnes with 12, and Dylan Harper with 11. So an absolute just belted ass from start to finish. So yeah, not much to talk about on game two.
I'm gonna wait till we get to game four.
Okay. Game three. San Antonio won again, 115 to 108, which then helped them lead 2-1 in the series. Wemby with a big 39 points, 13-18 shooting, 3 of 5, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks. De'Aaron Fox was 17. And then for the Timberwolves, big game for Anthony Edwards with 32. Jay McDaniels had 17. Nasri had 18 points off the bench. So that was your leading scorers for each side. A very close game in Minnesota. But I'm going to try and get to game four very quickly because this is where Tony's rant is going to come into play. I will let him have the floor.
Okay, so game four. Of course, Minnesota does win it. 109, 114. There was really no scoring really coming from anybody on San Antonio. Minnesota really didn't have much scoring either. But Anthony Edwards did go off for 36 points. Naj Reid had 15. Rudy Gobert, oh my God, this guy is so useless. He had 11. Jaden McDaniels had 14. And Julius Randle had 12. My big thing with game four is I'm pretty sure Victor Wembanyama, if he didn't get ejected for throwing what was a vicious elbow to Naj Reid, basically it was like a him in the throat. Um, Originally it was called the flagrant one, and then they looked at it again and they upgraded it to a flagrant two. Because for one, that elbow was really not called for. He just stood up and he basically did a meta world piece like when he elbowed James Harden. Only difference is he didn't knock him. He didn't knock him out. Now, I don't know if that was out of frustration or what, but that elbow was way beyond uncalled for. There was no need for that. The whistle was already had blown, so the play had already stopped. Nobody was really actually going after him or the ball. He literally just stood up and elbowed the shit out of him, like he was trying to send a message. Which, I mean, I don't know what kind of message you would be sending if you elbowing a guy to his throat, unless you're trying to say, "Hey, I'm going to kill you by doing this." But that elbow was completely uncalled for. Um, it did change the course of the game because now, remind you, this was in the second quarter. This wasn't like it was in the late third quarter or in the fourth quarter. This was before halftime in the second quarter. This is where the immaturity of some of these players actually show up. And this is not his first time in the playoffs. So he should know right then and there, okay, that's something, I shouldn't have done. And I wasn't going to really say much about Rudy Gobert, but After watching, I believe it was yesterday's highlights, where he had his shot blocked by, I believe, Johnson, who I believe is like 6'5" on a good day, and Gobert is like 7 foot, 7'1", and you have your shot blocked at the rim. Something is wrong. He's putting you. I mean, you could see him. He's literally putting no effort in anything he's doing. Wembyama is like 50 pounds lighter than Gobert, and Wembyama tosses him around like he's a Play-Doh doll. He's going to be the reason. He's not. Let me phrase that. He's not going to be. He is the reason why Minnesota will be going home after the series, because he's worthless. And now I see why Cat left Minnesota and wanted to get the hell out of there and went to New York.
On the Wembanyama side, he's extremely lucky that the NBA didn't fine him or suspend him for game 4, or sorry, 5. Because again, the elbow was very vicious. It was very uncalled for. The only difference between it being like the Ron Artest bad world peace and James Harden incident, it was more in the flow of the game, I would say. I mean, he was trying to pull his arm away from a different player. He knew Naz Reid was there though. Hit him right in the head near his throat. Whereas the world peace James and James Harden incident, it was after a dunk by Mad World Peace. He just straight up elbowed James Harden in the back of the head. So, but again, Victor's very lucky that he didn't get any further consequences for his actions. But again, like I said, they kind of changed the entire series. And on Rudy Gobert, I've been saying this for I think a few years now to a lot of people or in my friend circle and stuff that follow a lot of sports. I've never seen a NBA player that cannot adjust to how the NBA is played now more than him.
Exactly.
When he came in the league, there was not a lot of 3-point shooting centers. Understood. He was a defensive center. The game is expanding now, and he's not adapting or not changing. He cannot shoot worth a shit. He can't shoot free throws. He can't shoot 3-pointers. He can't shoot mid range. He is an at the rim dunker layup guy. That's it. And then, like you said, he is getting tossed around like a rag doll against Victor Wembanyama, who is, I understand, 7 foot fucking 4 or 5, but he is about 60 pounds lighter than you, and he's just doing whatever he wants.
Exactly.
So again, I've been saying this about Rudy Gobert. He's a great defensive player, but offensively, he's worthless. He is worthless. I mean,
Right now he's showing that he's worthless on defense too.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I'm not saying I could fucking play any better defense against Victor Wembanyama, who's 7'5", but
Well, but here's the thing though. You're what, 6'1", 6'2", if that?
yeah, I'm 6'2", on my tippy toes if I really wanted.
Okay.
If I wanted to be 6'2", I would have to wear like high heels. So
Rudy
yeah, like
Gobert is 7', 7'1". So he should not be getting tossed around like he's a rag doll. I could probably defend Wembyama better than Gobert has with fucking bad knees and a bad back.
yeah,
And I'm 6'3".
yeah, but I mean, again, I get it. Wembanyama is absolute freak of nature. I mean, he's
And I
7'5"
get that.
with a fucking bus-sized fucking wingspan, who can dribble like fucking Steph Curry and fucking shoot about as good as Kyle Korver. Like, this isn't fair. I get it, but I mean, you expected at least a bit more of resistance by Rudy Gobert, like at least a little bit. Like, it's just, I mean, again, it's not even fair. Like again, Gobert in game fucking 5 only had 4 points, and then Wembanyama had 27. Like, Count Johnson was used off the bench, and again, he blocked the shit out of a Rudy Gobert dunk attempt. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, he's like slightly tipped it. He absolutely met him at the rim and blocked it so good.
Did you?
And it's just,
My thing is, did you see the look on the Timberwolves players, the face on the Timberwolves players
mm,
after that happened?
yeah.
They was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah, like, yeah, you got to be convinced. This is our starting center.
I would have understood if it was Wembyami. Okay, that makes perfectly good sense. You know, he's 7'4", 7'5". Okay, he got the wingspan to block your shot at the rim on a dunk attempt. We're talking about, and actually, now I have to find out exactly how tall he is.
Say Calvin Johnson is about 6'6". I could be definitely wrong, but I don't think he's any taller than about 6'8". So he's 6'8" or smaller.
I don't think he's 6'8".
No, I know. I'm saying I don't. I don't think he's any taller than 6'8". I think he's 6'6" or 6'5". Let's see. Let's see. He is. Yep, he's 6'6", 220 pounds.
Yeah, 6'6", and Gobert is 7'1".
Yep.
You telling me at 7'1" you cannot dunk on somebody that's 6'6"? You should be eating them for breakfast. I mean, we've seen players shorter than that dunking on 7-footers.
It's- Again,
And you,
he's almost utterly useless in this series.
all I know for that, if I was Minnesota after this season's over, I'll be looking to get rid of his ass.
Yeah, it's a huge contract for somebody who is an offensive liability, and on defense is sometimes a liability as well.
I mean, their best bet is to find a non-contending team that will just take them just to have a body there just so that they're making an effort of rebuilding
hmm
because no contending team is going to want him. He is useless. He is beyond useless. He is about as useless as a tits on a board.
Um, that next game in that series is tomorrow. I guess we'll see how useless he is tomorrow. Um, the only other little bit of NBA news that I have is that Steve Kerr signed an extension for 2 years with the Warriors to make the highest paid head coach in the NBA, and the Bucks are open to hearing trades for Giannis. They announced the other day. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, not much more. I don't have anything else other than that. But again, Steve Kerr, it was up in the air about if he was actually going to stay or not. He says another 2 years, and Giannis is maybe on the trade block again. We'll see. That's been going on for about a year and a half by now. So
Pretty much.
who knows with that? But yeah, that's all I got, and we just hit an hour. So that is all I got for this week.
That's all I pretty much got too. Only thing I got left is a word from my sponsor. I caught myself. Word from my partner.
Mhm. Yep.
This is your sign to stop drinking mid energy. Still sipping on weak fuel that leaves you crashing 30 minutes later? Embarrassing. Enter Doobie, the energy that doesn't play nice. Clean, mean, built to keep you locked in while everyone else burns out. No jitters, no crash, just smooth, relentless energy that hits like a wake up call you can't ignore. One scoop and suddenly you're outworking everyone. Your focus is razor sharp, and excuses gone. Let's be real. You don't need another basic drink. You need something that keeps up with you. Doobie. Stay wired, stay winning, stay dangerous.
Yep. And again, as always, if you want a discount when you go over to the website and buy anything, you can enter our promo code DropZone and get 10% off your order.
Again, no Jay tonight, which was kind of surprising. Well, not really. He's probably at
No,
work.
yeah. He actually just came and visited me last Friday and saw how I was doing at work. He's still doing good at the job. So yeah, it was good seeing him. Again, we obviously like having him in the comments, but we understand work happens, life happens. So um, who he's doing right. And again, thank you for anybody who tuned in, who will watch this or listen to it on Spotify, our radio, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else that we will be. Thanks for the love and support always.
Yep, just remember to hit that subscribe and like button.
Yep.
All right, until next week, we see everybody later. Have a good night. Good week, folks.
Have a good week.